Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from relationship advice. Our first post is by Snoopets. My 23F boyfriend 24M didn't want to pay $200 to save my life. I was at a bar with my boyfriend and his friends a while ago. We all had a great time, dancing on tables, singing and drinking. I remember feeling totally fine 1 second, and the next I got very unsteady, and I lost connection with my body. I got confused and scared, but then just so calm. It was all types of weird. This is seconds here and there I remember. Most things that happened doesn't exist in my memory. I became unconscious, and according to my boyfriend, the few times I opened my eyes, they looked very scared. He was told to get a taxi and get me to the emergency room fast. He managed to get me into the taxi and it started to drive. My boyfriend told me that during the drive, the driver told him that he would have to pay $200 extra if I threw up. Then my boyfriend said F no, stopped the driver and wanted to walk to the emergency room. I was still unconscious, and he didn't know why or if my life was at risk. Luckily for him, the police was driving around and saw me laying on the ground. They asked him what's up and drove us to the emergency room with blue lights on and fast. They took it very seriously, and without them, my boyfriend would have been lucky to even get me to the emergency room. Turns out I got drugged that night. It got worse as he forced me to walk with shaky legs from the emergency room the day after. A walk that should have been 20 minutes took me 2 hours. Even started talking about the fact that he could have gotten drugged too, and that maybe he got a little drugged, even though he didn't feel weird at all that night. Then he started to talk about him paying the taxi $40 for the little drive and how much that was, like he wanted me to pay him back or something. He constantly stated that it was $40 and how sick that was. It's the normal price around here. He looked up symptoms related to being drugged and found that long-term symptoms would mostly be trauma. The next weekend I had to be with his friends again and some people I didn't know. They talked about that night and even made jokes a little around me being drugged. Not a lot, but I felt awful. He also ignored me once when I said someone was following me. He was never scared of letting me walk around in town at night, but if a female friend did it, then he would have to follow her. He argues when I'm scared instead of making me feel better or protecting me. Other than that, he's a kind man that doesn't want to hurt people, but this cannot be normal. Is this a relationship worth it? I'm scared I'm overreacting, but keep in mind that most of this is told from his perspective, as I don't remember that night. Edit. I forgot to say that I asked him what he would have done differently if this happened today, and paying the taxi was not on the list. Edit 2. I said it in the comments, but it's difficult to even see it at this point. I just have to say that he did call for an ambulance, but they didn't come. According to him, it was one of the first things he did. But he told them I was conscious, and so they didn't feel the need to come. An ambulance is basically free here, meaning it would have saved him some money. He would have no reason not to call. Some people also said that I should have paid him back for the taxi, and I agree based on the information I gave you. But I was the one that paid for drinks that night, and I spent a lot more than $40 on him. In total, I spent $176 to be exact. Edit 3. I also want to say thank you for all the feedback. It feels both awful and good having my feeling validated. In a way, I wanted you guys to tell me that I was overreacting and that he really tried his best. Seeing that you also find this situation a little effed up makes me feel less crazy though. And yeah, I'll dump him. I think it will be the best for the both of us. Our next post is by Muhammad Talal. I, 39M, refused to force my daughter, 18F, to give her education fund to my wife's 42F son and kicked her out for crossing the line over it. I am 39M, a father to my daughter, 18F. Let's call her Emma. My first wife and I were middle school sweethearts. Emma was a happy accident and we were thrilled to be parents to her. But my wife died while giving birth to her. I had just graduated and started a job, and I failed to juggle a kid and the career. So I remarried in a year and a half to my second wife, 42F. Let's call her Sam. She was also struggling raising her son, Tom, due to financial difficulties. It was a marriage of convenience, and we were very open about that. She would be staying at home raising both kids while I will financially provide for them. There were ups and downs along the road, but we made it work. Sam always gave her son preferential treatment, as in emotionally, which I never took issue with. After all, she was my daughter, not hers. But I always provided equally for both of them, because I always felt obligated to be fair with both of them. There were not any major issues growing up. Both kids maintained a healthy relationship with each other while maintaining a bit of distance. Both care for each other. And we never asked for more. My first wife and I both had an insurance policy. It was paid out when she died. For some reason, we once randomly talked about what we would do with money if one of us passed away. We both decided it would go to our kids, and if we didn't have a kid, then the surviving spouse should travel the world. I have kept that money in a trust that has grown over the age of 17 years and has been yielding significant profits, and now it's quite a bit of money. I have never borrowed even a penny from it because it belongs to my daughter, and I am just a guardian. This year, both kids applied to colleges, and Emma got into Ivy League with full scholarship. Our plan was if Emma did not get scholarship, I will pay her tuition with the trust. Tom also applied to Ivy League and got admission but without scholarship. He and I both discussed our options, and I told her that while I can help him with living expenses while he pursues his studies, but I can't afford the tuition without getting a massive hit. He was understanding and said that he will take loan for it. It was settled then, or at least I thought it was. One night Sam asked me if I can pay her son's tuition with the payout. She knows the width of that policy. I was startled for a second, but I said I will think about it. I delayed it because I wanted to ask Emma whether she wanted to help Tom out, because I have always let her make decisions of her own, as I feel it's the important part of parenting. I wanted to ask her alone without Sam present because Sam can be a bit pushy, and I wanted Emma to make decision on her own without any pressure because she is the sweetest kid who will rather be hurt than hurt anyone else. I explained the whole thing to my daughter and asked what she wants to do. She asked me what I think she should do, and I told her that I have no opinion, but no matter what decision she makes, it will not change anything between us. She will always be my world. She told me that she wanted to travel the world with me, as her mom wanted, with half of the money, and invest the rest so she can have extra cash flow. She asked me for the weekend to think about it, which I was happy to give her. On the weekend, she texted me to come in her room. She asked me to explain the profit yields, the amount, and everything related to the amount, which I did. After contemplating, she decided that she can pay for half of Tom's tuition while touring the world and maintaining the healthy cash flow. I stressed on her that if she does not want to do it, she does not have to. Tom is not her responsibility. But she said she wanted to help her brother out. During a family meeting, she told that to Tom in front of Sam and me. Tom teared up and hugged her and was very grateful. I noticed Sam was a bit off, but I ignored it. We all went out for dinner. In bed, Sam asked me who decided about Tom's tuition. I told her about the whole situation. Sam was shocked for whatever reason. She said that I didn't have to ask Emma and could have made the decision on my own, as it was not Emma's money. I told her in plain words that she does not get a say in that, since it was decided between me and Emma's mother what we will do with the money. Then she said, why didn't I involve her during the discussions with Emma? And by this time, I was at the edge, and I told her because it was none of her business. She said that she would talk to Emma, and Emma can pay for her brother's full tuition, and traveling the world is not necessary. I calmly yet firmly told her that she would not say a word to Emma about this, and this matter is closed. After a week, I was out with my colleagues when I received a text from Tom that I should come home immediately. I rushed home. I was home in 10 minutes. Sam was shouting at Emma how she should pay for Tom's tuition, and Emma was crying. Tom was trying to calm his mother down and to get her to shut up, but to no avail. I told my wife to shut up and go to the bedroom as politely as I could because I did not want to insult her in front of Tom because after all, she was his mother. I picked Emma up and was taking her to her bedroom when I heard Sam yell, "You were always a monster. You killed your mother while coming into this world." And this was the end point. I told Sam that I am going out and I will come back in 2 days, and she better be gone when I come back. I took Emma with me and asked Tom if he wanted to come with us. Tom was reluctant, but eventually came with us. I drove them to nearby Hilltown and got us checked in. Emma was crying all the way, and I let her after few initial tries to calm her down. By next morning, we met on breakfast. Emma's eyes were swollen from crying, and Tom basically got to his knees and apologized for his mother's behavior. Emma told him that it was not his fault. We three had heart-to-heart discussion once Emma and I had talked in private, where Emma was reassured that she wasn't responsible for anything. Emma will still be paying half of Tom's tuition. I also talked to Tom and told him that I would be divorcing his mother, and there is no turning back from that. But that doesn't have to change my relationship with him, unless he thinks otherwise. He asked me to consider my decision, and I asked him if what I was doing was unfair. He said no, and he understood. By the time we got home, my parents were already there and Sam was gone. My parents asked about what happened, and apparently Sam had fed them half the story and told them the whole tale. They were furious but tried to lower the temperature and asked if there is any way to make amends. I told them that my decision is final. I have served Sam with papers with a fair amount of alimony, along with a one-bedroom apartment since she made our home while I worked, despite the prenup, which eliminated any prospects of alimony or division of assets. In the meantime, our relatives and friends have been asking me to reconsider it. While they do not condone what happened, they want me to make space for her. Sam also reached out to Emma and apologized for her behavior. Emma asked me to reconsider my decision, as she has forgiven Sam and feels like there won't be any friction since she has already left for college. I am not willing to roll back because whatever affection I had for Sam is gone. I don't think it will ever be the same if we got back together. And there is no changing this lack of feelings for her. So I am asking objective and impartial Redditors for any advice on what to do here. Disastrous Oven says it best in the comments below. Yikes. A few things stick out. Marriage of convenience. Sam didn't really bond with Emma. Sam always favored her son. Sam thinking Emma had no say-so over her inheritance. How Sam berated Emma despite her generous offer to pay half for an Ivy school. Then the topper, what Sam said about her killing her mom? Some things can never be taken back. Sam doesn't seem like a very caring person. I think you're doing the right thing and very generous offering alimony. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.